What's going on, guys? Jack here, stage name Ninjack, and we are back with our first episode after the second episode of our Lessons with Jambad. Hope you follow that one. So, let's do a quick recap. We have learned how to analyze in depth our games. So now when we train, we're watching those replays with an extreme intensity. So, let's give you guys a little reminder of progress-wise how we're doing. So this is a sheet I put together to track my progress. So you can see we had a massive tilt slide. I talked about that in the last two videos, I think. Or actually no, just the last video. So the second lesson with Jambad. So if you don't know what that's about, go check it out. It's actually really good stuff. But yeah, we went way down, and we've been kind of bouncing around at 1500 again. I'm at 1523 right now. So we're going to play one more game, and we are going to focus and really try to use value well and play carefully. And then afterwards, we're going to download it and really do an in-depth analysis on our own this time. So, without further ado, let me make sure that it is in fact, yes. All right, let's get it. Alrighty, so my opponent has some serious threats on his team. Wow, okay. This team is like insanely aggressive. Holy cow. Okay. As long as Blissey is alive, Volcarona and Dragapult are going to struggle. Melmetal's pretty important, though, to make sure if Volcarona can't get boosted that we can take it out. Actually, I don't even know if it needs to be boosted. I don't know if that's even the case. We'll find that out in a second. But let me analyze. Dragapult Shadow Ball is super free as soon as Bisharp is gone. And even then it might be free. Bisharp. Nope. We need a little chip on Bisharp in order to do it. To 2-hit, so they can't swap in, is what I'm saying. Probably a Mew lead. If I had to guess, it screens. I think Melmetal probably can take out Mew. Not after that, but what about Dragapult? Kind of same deal. Okay. I think we need to be careful not to let Volcarona set up. Although we do have Blissey to paralyze it and then just start seismic tossing, I guess. Magnezone is here for Bisharp, Jack. You want to get Magnezone in on Bisharp, trap it, and then just body press that bad boy. They have a Gyarados. Kind of odd. I'm going to guess a Moxie one with Dragon Dance or something. So we don't want to let that get set up. So Magnezone's actually kind of important there. And Melmetal is important. Okay. Well, Melmetal can do a lot to basically everything. So I think we lead Melmetal because in almost all circumstances, it's a fine lead. Yep. So we just double Iron Bash here and yeah, double Iron Bash should be fine. They're probably, because double Iron Bash is great against this guy's like entire team, just about. Volcarona is a little scary with Flame Body, but if they give me Volcarona for that, it's probably an okay trade. I'm guessing because of the offensive nature of this team that that's like a screen setter. So we're just going to try to remove it as quickly as possible. We'll see. Flare Blitz. Wow, that did like 0. It's a Life Orb Mew. Wow. Okay. That's like enormous. Garchomp. Okay. Obviously, we don't want to just give this. Landorus with Toxic is actually really big here. And we just want to stop things from setting up. I think that's our game plan, so this is good. Because even if he does set up here with a Swords Dance, oh, that's even better. And his whole team, except for, I guess, Bisharp, is Toxicable. So this is a really good Toxic, and I can just Earthquake if Bisharp comes in. And this will prevent Garchomp from setting up in the future. Or at least it'll put it on a timer, which will make it much more difficult for them to set up. Okay, that's fine with me. So it is Moxie. It is not Intimidate. So that is a very important Toxic. 287. I'm Rocky Helmet, and we live anything unboosted, so I think we just U-turn here. Okay. So, what do we do against Gyarados in this circumstance? Tapu Fini eats all of this up, so we can taunt and just let Toxic start chipping away at him. I think that's the play. Right? Tapu Fini, let's say Gyarados, Dragon Dance, it's already at +1. Yeah, it's not doing anything to me. And I think if I just start... Actually, Draining Kiss might be better, right? Because you don't want to taunt if he swaps. And with Toxic, he won't have time to set up. Assuming it's Waterfall Earthquake, but I don't think it has anything for my Tapu Fini. So I think we'll Draining Kiss here. Oh my gosh, it has Power Whip. Okay. Okay. Okay, that was painful. But Landorus takes Power Whip, and then after a Rocky Helmet chip, we remove Gyarados. I don't want to lose Magnezone because it's really good against that Bisharp. I don't want to risk my Melmetal. Getting Toxic off is really big, though, and I would hate to lose... we won't lose Landorus. We never lose Landorus. What am I talking about? This is fine. Oh, that's interesting. I don't understand that play, to be honest, because what are you going to do? Power Whip here? Waterfall? I guess I have to sort of try to play around something. I don't want to lose Landorus because it's really good against Garchomp. Shadow Ball is free, like I said, so I think Melmetal's probably the thing, and it should eat whatever comes. Yep, perfect, perfect. Okay. And my Misty Terrain is about to run out, so we can get that Toxic going again if we need to. Dragapult, okay. That is a Blissey. And that'll let me wish back up something. Right, I can pair... Nah, I think we wish here. Because I'd love to get HP back on something like Fini or Melmetal. Oh, it's physical? Question mark? Tapu Fini will take anything, I think. I ain't gonna lie to you, this is kind of scaring me. But Draining Kiss does a lot to Dragapult, I believe. Dragapult. It seems to be Dragon Dance. There it is. It's at +2 attack. Draining Kiss, yeah, definitely does a lot. So we'll just Draining Kiss, and if they Phantom Steel Wing. Interesting. That's wild. I don't think that's a set, to be honest with you. Draining Kiss is like crazy free. We can just Draining Kiss all day. If that's their best move, I almost want to call mine, but I don't think that's the play because we have answers for these other things, so there's no reason to risk something. Because Draining Kiss will just finish off this Dragapult. Or with Life Orb, yeah, it will. And what would worst case be? Volcarona? Volcarona is not a Tapu Fini answer. Then I just Scald. Steel Wing. Interesting. I'm guessing Fire Blast is for things like Melmetal. Yeah, there's no drawback to just Draining Kissing here. That's kind of weird. It sounds like it's only coming out of this ear for me for the audio. Yeah, it definitely is. That's kind of weird. I wonder why it's doing that. Man, they're really thinking about this. They're expecting to do more with that Steel Wing, but that's a neutral non-stab move. So you're not getting more than that. Did they leave? They just like quit. Seriously. What's wild though is after the analysis from last time, we saw that you can absolutely have a ton of stuff to learn in a short game. Or a game that you did very well. I guess the last one was like 30 turns. All right. That's wild that they just like quit. Well, that was so short. Depending on how long this analysis takes, y'all might get a second game, which was not the plan initially. Okay. Record that in my progress tracker so that we can look at that in the future. Okay. Let's go, team. So let's download this replay and let's really think about each turn. So we led Melmetal into Mew. So let's see, was Melmetal the right play? So I led Melmetal, and the thing I was probably the most scared of on his team what was I the most scared of? Probably Garchomp. Garchomp has the best chance of sweeping me because I am a little weak to ground apart from Landorus. So Garchomp was probably the thing because, like, you know, Volcarona I'm not so scared of because I have a Blissey. Dragapult not as afraid of because I have a Blissey. Of course, it turned out to be physical. Mew is not generally a threat. Bisharp. Bisharp's a threat if it sets up. And Gyarados, obviously also a setup user. That Toxic I got actually ended up being really important. So let's see. This is an okay lead, I think. I think this was a reasonable lead because Melmetal covers basically everything. I guess I am the most scared of Garchomp, but it's a little risky leading Garchomp in case they, Landorus, in case they lead Bisharp, and then I set it up. That could be very bad. So I think that's a little too risky to lead the Landorus blind. But because even if they went Garchomp, I can swap in and Landorus will take, you know, like let's say they Sword Stance. Landorus will take a +1 Stone Edge and I can get my Toxic off. And then now that thing's on a huge timer and Tapu Fini should be able to wall it until it dies. In fact, Fini might be a pretty good answer to Garchomp, actually. That's one I don't always think of going to. Fini kind of struggles with it. Earthquake does a lot of damage, especially at +1. It'll 2-shot. So no, Fini doesn't really work unless they're not boosted and I have Toxic already. And then I think we can outlive with Draining Kiss, but we lose a lot of value in that case. So I think Melmetal was fine. I think a Melmetal... Oh, wow. Double Iron Bash will kill Garchomp unless they're built to beat it. That's actually crazy. So, yeah, Garchomp was super fine. Now I know Garchomp Double Iron Bash will take out a non-defensive Garchomp. One shot. Okay, good to know. So let's see what we do here. They chose to Flare Blitz. And I chose to Double Iron Bash. Now, obviously, in this turn, I took out an entire Mon. And they dealt, what, 31%, 32%? Wait, that's funny. 31.5, and yet it shows 69, which this should go to 32. Oh, I wonder if they rounded. Yeah, okay. No, it might round to 31.5, but it does not round to 32. Anyways, nerd moment. So in this circumstance, I Double Iron Bashed because it basically didn't lose against anything on his team. Melmetal was a serious problem for him. Now that I know it one-shots a Garchomp that's not built for it, that's pretty valuable information. So we Double Iron Bash, dealing a ton. Oh, sorry, got some notifications. I could have swapped, but I don't think that makes any sense here because I knew that I could one-shot a Mew unless it got a Reflect Up. And as it turned out, we took out their Mew, which It's weird. This looks like a hyper offense team. Just like they got a ton of setup users. And so I was expecting like a screens Mew or hazards. Instead, it chose Flare Blitz. So that was kind of odd. But we double Iron Bashed and took a ton of value. And they took not a massive amount. Because Melmetal wasn't like imperative. And this is exactly why. So they come Garchomp. And we can't live in Earthquake from an offensive Garchomp anymore. But I know that Landorus can live a +1 Stone Edge. No, I'm saying that so confidently. Yes, so if they Swords Dance on me and I come in, then they're at +1. We take 48.9 to 57.8%. I get my Toxic off, and Garchomp is on a serious timer and can no longer just like do whatever the heck it wants. And I knew that, and so in this circumstance, I could attack. Because Melmetal can one-shot offensive Lando. One-shot offensive Lando, but Earthquake will kill us at this range unboosted. And so I didn't want to lose Melmetal because I identified that I did a ton of damage to everything with double Iron Bash. And so it would be better to try to get it in on something like, you know, an unboosted Gyarados or something that I knew I could live a hit and get the move off again. Like a Wish Pass into it. You guys get the idea. So in this circumstance, I swapped to Landorus. I think everything else would have been bad. You don't want to go Dragapult in case they Scale Shot right away. You don't want to go Blissey, ever. Magnezone, we're baiting an Earthquake, so you definitely don't want to go Magnezone. And Tapu Fini, as I learned, does not deal with that the best. And so I think Landorus does make sense because we're trying to prevent a setup type scenario, which is the scariest, and trying to get that Intimidate off. So we go Landorus here, and they Earthquake. Okay. Now in this circumstance, obviously that's great for us. They're actually at -1 attack, so that Garchomp is not doing anything to Landorus. That's not true. It could have run Ice Beam, I guess. I actually didn't factor that in. This was a little risky, especially because I had them down to -1 attack. It's highly unlikely they're going to boost on my Landorus, actually. By staying in, I was risking an Ice Beam for the sake of getting a Toxic off. Oh, this was actually maybe not the best play. I was feeling good about it. But even it, like, yeah, let's say it's -1, but let's say they're rocking the Ice Beam. I don't know. Actually, though, because what is Landorus here for? Landorus is predominantly here for this Garchomp, because we don't want to go Landorus on Bisharp, because we'll Defiant proc it. That's not true. Landorus was pretty useful against Gyarados, but so is Tapu Fini, except it turned out it had Power Whip. Melmetal's really good against Gyarados, actually. So I think maybe this makes sense, but I was risking my Landorus more than I needed to, or more than I intended, because I was thinking, oh, you know, Stone Edge, that won't do anything. But actually, Ice Beam does do something. And, like, at this point, you're not, like, if you don't have Ice Beam, you're not clicking Swords Dance here, because you know I could be running Toxic. So you're either clicking Ice Beam or swapping. So actually, Toxic was pretty good, and it certainly worked out. And I was scared of all the different setups, but I should have factored for the fact that, hey, if they click Ice Beam, that could be bad. Now, if I go Melmetal on Ice Beam, obviously we win that exchange, and because they're at -1 attack, they can't kill anymore, and I can double Iron Bash. And if they go Gyarados, for example, double Iron Bash kills. Or, I actually don't know if that's true. Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch kills, because I haven't picked a move yet. Melmetal, how does it do into a Gyarados? Oh, yeah. Melmetal eats up Gyarados' moves, even after an Ice Beam from a Garchomp. Let's look at Volcarona. Oh, wow. Flamethrower does a lot, huh? Okay, so if I had gone Melmetal and they went Volk, that would have been very bad. I would have... no, because I had a Blissey. I had a Blissey, and even if you just start boosting, I just... Oh, my Blissey doesn't have Toxic. It's Thunder Wave. But yeah, I Thunder Wave you and just start Seismic Tossing. And you got to get pretty far before, for example, a Giga Drain is doing anything to me. No, even at +6, a Giga Drain ain't doing anything. Yeah, Blissey can wall Volcarona all the way through. I didn't realize that. I guess at +6, they recover enough with Giga Drain. Anyways, I'm not letting them get to +6, so that's kind of an irrelevant point. I could have gone Melmetal here, which I think covers a little better for everything, because what we don't want is for me to Toxic and then take an Ice Beam, and like if it's a crit, now we're in a really awkward spot. If it's, you know, if it does just a ton of damage to our Landorus, we've weakened our options for taking out Gyarados later with Intimidate use. Toxic was a little risky, but that said, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's that bad, because this thing is a serious problem. If I get a Toxic on it, then I've neutralized the problem. So I don't think it's the worst play, but I think maybe a little safer would have been go Melmetal, because you're not going to Earthquake again on a Landorus. That said, we did choose to Toxic, and we do get a Toxic on Gyarados, so obviously that is still very helpful, because Gyarados can now no longer set up freely. Now in this circumstance, let's take a look. Let's see what we do. They Dragon Dance, and I U-turn. And I go Feeny. That is an interesting call, because obviously I forgot about Power Whip. In my head, I was like, oh, Feeny walls things like Waterfall and Earthquake. You know? But if I go Melmetal, and because I went second, I knew, yeah, I could have gone Melmetal. Earthquake never kills, and I can just Thunder Punch. And none of, that's not true. Garchomp, I guess, doesn't mind Thunder Punch, but we still had a full HP Landorus that can come in every single time and do its thing. Oh, actually, this was extra bad. Oh, gosh, Tapu Fini was potentially terrible, because by setting Misty Terrain, they could have gone Garchomp. If they take me out, they can go Garchomp too, and they can set up, and I can't Toxic for several turns. Oh yeah, I think Melmetal was absolutely the thing I should have done. It lives everything and pressures out with Thunder Punch. Yeah, okay. I think Tapu Fini was not a good play. I also learned that Gyarados gets Power Whip, so you have to be very careful of that. You got to scout for Power Whip. And I set that Misty Terrain, which is, like I said, not actually kind of scary, because now potentially Garchomp, Volcarona, like all these things can come in and not worry about the status I have to inflict on a sweeper team. This was actually, going Feeny on sweeper is really dangerous. You got to be very confident you're not going to need Toxic or Thunder Wave in the near future. Okay. So I click, let's see, they click Power Whip, which obviously does a massive amount. I click Draining Kiss. I think Draining Kiss was the play here. You don't want to taunt, because if they have nothing for me, they're just going to swap, in which case taunt's doing nothing. And if they do have something for me, Draining Kiss allows me to get some HP back, and that actually ends up being important later, because I could go Feeny on a Fire Blast, or no. I was able to go Feeny later with a Wish and get it back to full HP. So Draining Kiss, I think, was the play once I'm in, because you don't want to swap and let him boost again, potentially, and then Melmetal can't handle this Gyarados. So I think Draining Kiss was the play, but we did remember and learn Gyarados can learn Power Whip, so you have to watch out for it. In fact, if you're a Dragon Dance variant, you probably have Power Whip a frequent, like probably not that infrequently. Now Toxic is doing its good work. We do go Landorus here. This is a bit risky, I think. No. Because even if it is Power Whip variant, and they do click it again, oh wow. Oh no, so Power Whip does about 30%, so that was okay. That was okay. They actually chose to boost again instead, and now they're one turn away from death, so now I go Melmetal, because at 1.5, Power Whip, Waterfall, not doing it, and they do die. Oh, whoa. So I think Melmetal... was the play because I needed to have Magnezone to be able to come in on Bisharp at any point. Let Bisharp kill something. Magnezone comes in, body press kills. Because otherwise, Bisharp is a pretty big problem for my team with Sucker Punch. So I need to keep Magnezone. Dragapult offered me a lot of value in Shadow Ball, whereas Melmetal was already chipped. And Dragapult also outspeeds that Garchomp, which is really important potentially for coming in and clicking Draco Meteor. Which again, this Misty Terrain is kind of hamstringing me there, so I really got to pay attention to Misty Terrain. You don't want to go... I was already in Landers, wasn't I? Yeah. So here, they boost again. And I went Melmetal. Yeah, obviously you're never going Blissey. I don't want to go Feeny and lose Feeny. Is that true? Actually, Melmetal makes sense here because Volcarona, literally 3 of these things kill Melmetal in one shot at the HP it's at. Only Bisharp might not, and even it might. I'm not sure. Choice Band Knockoff might do it. So Melmetal honestly wasn't providing me a massive amount of value at this point. So even if Gyarados like Earthquake killed or something, which I don't think it does at +1, even if it did, this is absolutely the correct sack if we have to sack something. But I was just like, oh, it doesn't die. But really, yeah, Melmetal was not actually all that valuable at this point because all these things just kill it, which, you know, boom, Dragapult comes out and we have to swap. Blissey, I think, makes a ton of sense here. Blissey handles an unboosted physical attack. Blissey can handle, and then I know it's physical. And Landorus becomes especially good. So yeah, plus you know that a fire move is being baited with the Melmetal, so I think Blissey makes a lot of sense here. Because what is Blissey here for? The special things, Dragapult and Volcarona. That's all Blissey's here for, so let's use it for what it's here for. And get a free wish to potentially heal back up our Tapu Fini or our Melmetal. And so attacking doesn't make sense because we can't actually hit a Ghost type. Can't Thunder Wave because of Misty Terrain. And we're not especially afraid of the Fire Blast that's coming. Sorry, that turn hadn't ended. Now it's ended, so now... Actually, I guess I could have Thunder Waved. And actually, Thunder Wave would have been pretty free. Oh, no. I didn't want him to go Garchomp on a Thunder Wave. I wanted to have a Wish up so that I could fully heal something potentially and pressure out that way. Or basically have a free swap in, like to my Landorus again. Come in, take a Stone Edge, heal back up. So I think Wish makes sense here because Dragapult's never OHKOing us. Unless it was like Choice Banded Dragon Darts maybe, but we had seen Fire Blast. So we knew they weren't Choice Banned, or at least it would be very weird if they were Choice Banned. So they do Dragon Dance. We learn it's physical, but we get the Wish up. And so I can easily go Tapu Fini because they shouldn't have an answer. And I think here, this is really good for us because Dragon Darts isn't doing anything to Tapu Fini. And Dragapult doesn't learn a physical coverage move that is going to hurt Tapu Fini other than apparently Steel Wing. And at +2, does 41%. So Tapu Fini never loses to Dragapult, whereas unboosted Fini Draining Kiss, massive damage, keeps us topped off. I think that's the correct play because I Draining Kiss on like everything for free. And not afraid of a Bisharp. If I get the Draining Kiss, excellent. I can always sack Fini, go melt Magnezone to finish off Bisharp. Draining Kiss into Volcarona, we can just start Scalding or potentially Calm Mind boosting ourselves. No. Volcarona, I think you still go Blissey. But we never lose clicking Draining Kiss. It just takes value and it's safe. And if they stay in, we're fine. And as you see, we got like all of our HP back more or less. And then they end up forfeiting, which is, you know, it is what it is, I guess. Do I have time for another? How long into this video are we? I think I'm going to have to call it here, guys. I don't have a ton of time, and that was a short game, and it took me 30 minutes. And we learned a lot of things. Let's do a recap here. What did I learn? First of all, Gyarados gets Power Whip, so you have to be careful of that. I learned Landorus with Toxic is a great Garchomp answer. Tapu Fini is not necessarily a Garchomp answer. In fact, offensive Garchomp, Earthquake just does too much, and I don't think we do enough back with Draining Kiss. I shouldn't just say that. I think we tested it, but let's just confirm. Let's assume it's OU Swords Tack. Swords Tack? Swords Dance. No, Draining Kiss isn't doing enough. So yeah, oh wow, Garchomp's actually kind of scary for this team. I need to have a really healthy Melmetal, or get Dragapult in and Draco Meteor it. Or of course Landorus with Toxic. So we learned that. We identified, I'm gonna just kind of run through the battles a little quicker here. Melmetal. Okay, so Melmetal into Mew, I think Flare Blitz. I don't understand that, to be honest. Double Iron Bash. I guess a burn would have been good for him. I think this is a good play, especially, it worked out very well. I really don't disagree with Toxic. Potentially Melmetal is better here. But I think Toxic still works, because the only thing is if they do go wild and they click Swords Dance against your Landorus while you switch to Melmetal, now you're in trouble. So I rescind what I said earlier a little bit. I think Toxic was a good play here. I went Fini here, which I think is a mistake. You should always go Melmetal in this circumstance, because Melmetal doesn't do anything really against these other Mons. Like, they all beat him before he beats them. So if I go Melmetal here and Thunder Punch and he can't kill me, that's basically saying, okay, Melmetal's only remaining value potential is to take out Gyarados. Let's use him for that. Tapu Fini's not the play, because now we've set ourselves up for a potentially scary situation if they go Garchomp and we can't Toxic them. So that's actually probably the big thing we learned, is you got to be careful with Tapu Fini. You got to think about the potential to I have 2 hazard or status setting moves, so you got to be careful with that. Using Landorus to keep the attack down, I think, made sense. I finally do go Melmetal, but I should have gone earlier. I think this stuff I played pretty well. I think you always go Blissey and a Dragapult, because that's what it's here for. I get a Wish Off. I guess if this was sub-variant, that could have been kind of scary. No. Tapu Fini beats physical Dragapult. That's what I learned. Tapu Fini absolutely wrecks physical Dragapult. Gosh, look at that damage. Beautiful. Yep. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first time doing the analysis apart from Jambad, really trying to say attack, switch, defend, which of these were the correct plays in this circumstance. Maybe I didn't harp on that quite enough, but I'm learning. I'm not going to do it perfectly. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please, please, please sub. I'm trying to hit 100 subs, guys. We're trying to grow out here. I work really hard at this. I try to make these things look professional and clean and nice. So if you have suggestions, please leave a comment about something I can do to make it look a little cleaner, something you would like to see. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please, please, please sub. Please leave a like. YouTube really rewards that. And I'll see y'all later.